Well, welcome. We've had this shit on our calendars for so long. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I feel like it's been 100 years. But,
Yes.
I know what happens when we get busy with podcasts. Listen, I'm all over it. It's all
Y-
good.
I love it. Well, it's so good to see you. Well, okay. So, I was thinking about this and like I kind of have like this general outline of like where you are now. I have this little bit of information about how you got here. So, if it's okay with you, I kind of wanted to start with, well, first of all, you know how I am. Whatever you're not comfortable answering or just answer it to whatever your comfort level is, okay?
I'm
Let's
all good.
start really a long time ago. Can you tell me kind of like however briefly or long you want to say it, what those early years of your life were like?
But yeah, my early life was awesome. I had an amazing mom who would, bring anybody under her wing, right? I think that's kind of where I get my empathy and my extrovert. My mom was a nurse, and when
Mm.
my mom passed away, there were probably like 300 people at her funeral. Like she was
Mm.
just a good person. And then, my dad taught me everything about technology, about computers, and so like my love of people and then my love of like nature and technology came from my parents. And
That's so
I
cool.
grew up in a neighborhood like I was probably like the only girl. So I grew up as a
Oh,
tomboy.
really?
And I was probably not the best role model as a child, but you know, I'm the oldest of four. I got involved with drugs and had some issues in my childhood, but I think my mom would be really proud of the person who I became now. And
Yeah.
but I really had to I had to struggle. I was on the
Yeah.
struggle bus, about 3 years ago. Well, yeah, 3 years ago. And life takes you on like some crazy paths, but I'm
Mhm.
super fortunate that I get to do this and that I'm alive.
Yeah. Are you grateful for the really hard struggle now? Have you reached that place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful every single day. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I get to do my podcast. I'm grateful that I got to walk away from corporate America after 45 years and
Yeah.
like do my own thing. I'm grateful for the hard stuff because that
Yeah.
hard stuff made me who I am today.
Yeah, and just to even, like, expand on that, I think, because I don't like when people want us to feel this gratitude when we're in the middle of the hard shit,
Yeah.
Like, I hate when it's very triggering, and so that's why, like, I'm so careful because I don't want people to feel triggered by us, but I think the idea that we're trying to explain is like you can't have profound light without having gone through profound darkness. It is the contrast that creates the light. And when you reach the light, you're like, oh, and I wouldn't even understand how bright this is if I hadn't had that darkness.
Oh, 100%. Like that little glimmer of hope that told me that things were going to get better.
Hmm.
At the time, I couldn't believe it because I was in such a horrible place.
Yeah. Did you
But
feel trapped in your life? Was that like kind of the crux of so much of your stuff is like, there isn't an out to these things that are driving me insane?
yeah, well, and part of that problem was is that yes, I felt shame and I felt stigma and I was pissed. I was pissed at myself because I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me.
Mhm.
And being the extrovert and the empath that I am, I didn't tell anybody what was going on because I couldn't find the words or the footing to figure it out.
Right. Well, and I mean, not to like I don't want this to feel like a challenge, but um, something that I'm really discovering in myself is I didn't know how because I had spent so many years of my life protecting myself from that vulnerability. It is the like us going and being the little helpers of the world. So much of that really is to protect ourselves from anyone trying to help us because if you try to help me, and I mean, that's what I'm noticing too, just like in grief, is that before not like before last 6 months, but the older versions of me, or previous versions of me, like, in my head, it was one thing, which was, "I can't share because you all are idiots who won't know what to do with it." And then, like, as I've been allowing people to just, like, see me and hold me and whatever, which is still very weird, like, it's not it's comfortable in the moment, but I'm still afraid of it. I allow it, but I'm still afraid of it. I can see now where I was just lying my ass off to myself before and saying, "Oh, well, they're all idiots. What do they know that you don't know?" And so like and I really believed that. Like that was my truth was that you're all so stupid and I didn't necessarily feel smarter than, but I knew they weren't smarter than me is what was in my head. And I'm like, "So why would I share?" Because I thought they're supposed to give me the answer. How are they gonna give me the answer if they're dumb? And I realize now, you were just afraid to share your shit. You were afraid to be vulnerable or be perceived as weak or whatever it was.
Well, as extroverts, we put this mask on, right?
Mhm.
We never take it off. But I will tell you, the minute I started taking that mask off and being truthful and letting people actually know how I was feeling was absolutely freeing. And so, like, the thing that I learned about myself is that my mask hurt me.
Yes.
It didn't really hurt. It
Yes.
hurt the people outside of my life or outside of me, but it really hurt me. Like, if I had opened up sooner, I probably wouldn't have been sitting in my bedroom on Christmas Day with a bottle of pills and 988 on the other line.
Right.
And so, like, that is my big message right now is, like, take your fucking mask off.
Yes.
Let people see you for who you are. And
Yes.
yeah, you know what? We're all flawed, okay? Nobody's perfect. Nobody.
Right. And nobody cares that you're not perfect. Nobody cares even that you lied yesterday and said you were fine when you weren't. Like say it now. No, this is so crazy because I said that at my son's funeral. I said, let people feel the weight of who you really are. Tell them, say the scary shit out loud. Like nobody ends up dead from an overdose and having shared their shit with people. I know for a fact he didn't share with anybody. You could tell if he was having a bad day, but he didn't fucking tell anybody about it, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think and here's what's really funny. I have a fucking tattoo on my rib cage that I got back in like 2017 that says, let people feel the weight of who you really are and let them fucking deal with it. And I had no idea what it meant at this intimate place that I know it now, but I'm so glad. I've always loved the tattoo, but like I'm so glad I have that now because it is such a good reminder. Like people do want to hold your weight. The thing that too is that like they're not gonna do that perfectly either. Like, people are gonna show up imperfectly,
Yeah.
and so it really just boils down to what our expectation of ourselves are, because then we impose that expectation on others. So, like, you and I, we're the helpers. How many times did you think that you could even come up with the perfect thing to say to help somebody in a crisis? And so that's what maybe you expected of others. I know for me, that was it. Like I thought I was so good at, and it's not that I wasn't, I am good at it, but I thought that was the only way to show up for somebody. And then that was my expectation from other people. So when they showed up imperfectly, I did not allow that. I pushed them further away because I was like, oh, proof that you're an idiot. Cool. Okay. Well, that's good. But now, with me being so okay with being so imperfect, I think that really helps me to go, yeah, I mean, it's not that people don't like sting you a little bit when they do something that just didn't quite hit the mark or whatever, but I can very quickly go, "You know what? I know where that came from." And also if I'm having a hard time figuring out where it came from, I go, "Why I know I've done this too. Maybe look different, maybe it was in different font, but I know I've done this too. So like, why did I do that? Okay, I know why you did that. No worries, no worries."
Yeah. These conversations are important because what this does is removes that stigma, removes that shame, and
Mhm.
there's absolutely zero weakness in asking for help. Okay. This is for all the extroverts out there because I know you're all out there and you're all
Yep.
wearing that mask right now. You're all
Mhm.
sitting at work like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, but you're not. Let people know how you're feeling because here's the thing. You are wanted, needed, and loved in this world, and the world's a better place because you're here. And if
Yes.
you are struggling, pick up the phone and call 988, please.
Yes.
And
Yeah, because, like, I think too, as I'm learning to share things in real time instead of like, because I used to think my purpose and what I really strove for was go through something and then on the other side of it, share how I got through it. And then in the last year, specifically the last 6 months, it's been very like, through lots of different channels, been just, like, really solid in my spirit to be like, "No, you share in real time." Like, you let people know the good, bad, and the ugly of what you're experiencing. So, for me, where I'm a little struggling with this is I lie to myself still. When someone texts me on a good day and says or, like, a good moment, let's say what I just something good just happened, whatever, and then someone's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you. How are you?" I have no problem being like, "Yesterday was a bad day, but today's this and la la la." Versus I got to thinking of you yesterday whenever yesterday was not a good day. And so I was like, "Heart, I don't have the energy to whatever." I'm lying. I don't know how to tell you I'm having a bad day. So instead, when someone like asked specifically yesterday, I was like, "Fucking do it, Melissa." And so I was like, "It's not a good day. Here's," but this is the thing about life and even grieving the worst thing you can possibly grieve. I will tell you, most of it really does come down to a chemical response to something. Like, I started my period yesterday morning. I hadn't slept well in 2 nights. My oldest son had surgery yesterday morning. Like, all these compounding things, and so I knew, don't give too much credence to how bad you're feeling right now. You know what I like, I just did the tools. I used the tools to get through yesterday. But, like, I knew I was lying when I was like, "I don't have the energy to tell you." And maybe I just didn't feel safe with that first person. I don't know. Maybe the fact that someone asked directly, but I was like, "Go to tell someone today while you're not feeling good." Like, this is a bad day and this is why. But it's still new. And so just understand, like, your brain is a fucking liar and it's going to give you all kinds of reasons to not share. If you're hearing this and you're like, "Yeah, but not me." And you know what, Gretchen? Someone on one of my YouTube clips the other day on a YouTube short said, sorry, audience, I know I've already talked about this, but uh, that's great that you found something that's helping you, but I can't share mine with anyone. Like, I think she experienced child loss too, I don't know, but she was like, "I can't share." And I just hearted it because I'm not arguing with people on the internet, you know what I mean? And I also didn't have the energy to like give in that moment to be like, "Yes, you can," like that's where you're at, like whatever. I hope you listen to the episode, but the thing is that like we tell ourselves all kinds of reasons, and that's just your brain. Like every time your brain goes, "This is outside my comfort zone, and my one job, my one fucking function is to keep you alive," it's gonna feed you shit that it knows you're gonna listen to. Like, "You can't tell them that," or, at work, "People will think you're weird," or whatever the thing is that our brain tells us we can't share. It is a liar. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Stop being so afraid, and I don't mean that in a, "Just stop." I'm saying lean in. Lean into your natural inclination to do something that's scary. I know you feel pulled to share. And I know that's why the hole gets dug deeper because the more pull you feel to share, the more your brain's like, "No, but you're actually a piece of shit. Nobody cares." You know?
but, there's a way to counter that for people that don't have anybody to share it with. You
Mhm.
know what? Talking to your phone. Give yourself do record a message.
Yes.
When I was going through my own healing, I got tired of, like, writing down in my journal.
Mhm.
So I would just pick up my phone and leave myself a voice recording, and
Yes.
I would go back and reflect on that. And so here's kinda what happened with me because, you know what? I never shared my shit with anybody, not even my wife, and my wife and I had been together for 28 years at that time.
Wow.
So, like, nobody knew how depressed I was, not even
Yeah.
her. They ask better questions now. And that's part of, like, what's in my book. Is in my book, I have a whole chapter about how you can help an extroverted friend if you think they're
Yes.
depressed,
I
right?
love that.
Ask better questions. Don't ask us shit like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Because I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna say. "Oh, we're living the dream." Okay,
Yeah,
that
or
was my
yeah.
typical
Pretty
response.
good.
pretty good. Like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna tell you that on the inside of my head, I just want to die, okay? Because
Yeah.
there were times close to that to the end that I was like, "Fuck you all, I'm done. I
Uh-huh.
don't want anything to do with any of you. Goodbye." But now my wife has been much better. Like, she now sees the signs, and so we have a code word. If I need to get out of the house, or just get out of my head, I say the word unicorn. And
Yeah.
as a lesbian, yeah, I probably say that a lot, but I don't. It's not a word that I use a lot. But if I say the word unicorn, it means I need to get out. I need to get outside
Yeah.
of my head. And you know what?
Yes.
I have not done that in the last 2 years. I used
Wow.
every tool in the toolbox to get from the shit to where I am now because there
Yeah.
is hope, right? But you have to put in the work and we have to put the work into ourselves. Like, we have to be honest with us.
Yeah.
You know what? We're broken. I get it. You know what? I'm not perfect. Okay. Yeah, I made some mistakes. Yes, I could have opened up and told somebody something, but when it is ingrained into you that you don't talk about those things,
Right.
and I was 59 and a half, right? So for all the youngins out there, listen, if you got shit going on, tell somebody. Pull a
Yeah.
friend aside. Call 988. 988 is not just for suicide ideation, it is a crisis hotline. So if you are in crisis, contact somebody.
Yes. I
And
like the idea too. I was just telling someone else this because someone else commented on that same YouTube short and said, like, no one will listen. And she's in a family of people who are like, we don't talk about that. And so I was like, talk to your phone, join a support group, call.
yeah,
But yeah, absolutely. And I think too, it's funny because whenever I was like at my absolute lowest, what I think that was what, October of 23? Yeah, so just over 2 years ago. Um, that was all I could think about. Like, at the breaking point, it was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this." Like, for sure, I've made a plan, I'm gonna do this, and then that's all I could think of. All I could think about was how bad I was hurting and, like, how bad I wanted to die, and then it was like, "Oh, this is all I could think about." I'd be laughing, joking with someone at work, meanwhile, I'm in real time thinking, like, "You're gonna be so sad because you're not gonna see this coming." Like, it was so bizarre, it was such a weird thing, but all because I didn't know how to share with people, and, I mean, not that's literally not the only reason. The shame is the hugest component of everything, but I've learned to even process shame out loud. Nobody has to have the answers. When you can, I mean, it helps, if you listen to shows like this or read a book or see a therapist or whatever. I'm not saying not to do those things, but when you can figure out what it is going on inside of you, so much of that can be done through talking about it. Like, cause that's me anyway. I'm absolutely a verbal processor. When I'm talking, that's when I hear what I'm saying for the first time, and I'm like, "Oh, I can see how that's illogical," or how, "Oh, that's just shame." Because, like, I think I told you that, everything changed for me whenever I got, told about a book called the Finding Peace Workbook, and he breaks shame down into different archetypes, which was so important to me because I thought I was just, like, schizophrenic or something because all this internal talk had gotten very loud, and even though at first, it seemed like it was all just me talking. It was very different personalities. Like, "Melissa, you know better than that, you stupid idiot." And then, "No, but if they hadn't done this, I wouldn't have done this." And then just all this back and forth in my head. That's what was driving me insane because it was a nonstop process in my head. While breaking it down into like, "Oh, I know where each of that comes from." I could instantly go, "Oh, that's shame. Oh, that's shame. Shame is sneaky. Perfectionism is sneaky. All these things are very sneaky." So getting to a place where you can identify it and go, "Oh, whoa, 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 whoa," and then talk about it. Like, it really is that easy once you start to understand it. I understand if you're in the middle of a really dark place, none of this shit sounds easy, but let it give you hope. Believe that we might know a little bit about what we're talking about. That's all I'm asking anyone to do is at least believe that we know a little bit about what we're talking about.
yeah, 100%. I mean, like, I put 3 years of really hard work into myself.
Mhm.
Like, I became really super vulnerable. I share my story a lot now, and the only reason I do that is because I don't ever, I mean, ever want somebody to get to where I got to. It was
Mhm.
terrifying.
Yeah.
absolutely terrifying. And, it doesn't it age doesn't matter, but, when I was going to school, they didn't teach us shit about mental health,
No.
nothing.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's up to, like, people like you and I and Dirty Skittles and, the whole gamut of us out there that are being super vulnerable and sharing our story. Here's what we do. Every time we share that story, we unlock somebody else's prison. So
Mhm.
people don't feel so alone. And, like if you are out there and you're a caregiver or a friend or somebody that, is close to somebody that is going through a really hard time, the number one thing you can do for us is just listen. Because
Mhm.
we have so much shit rolling around in our heads that sometimes we just need to get it out. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to give us a remedy, just hear us out.
Yeah, and I kinda have a rule now where, like, if it's something I'm grappling with more than a couple of times in a day, I gotta tell someone. I just had this whole thing the other day where I was, like, freaking out because I was worried. It wasn't even logical because I knew like, biologically this wasn't possible, but I was worried that maybe Jake had just been non-responsive for a certain amount of time, and that if I had gone in there sooner, that we could have done something to change the outcome, and I knew that wasn't possible just because of all of the biology of things, but it wouldn't stop coming up, and I couldn't soothe it away, and so finally, I just talked about it with my family. Oh my fucking it just was the pressure was off then. The weight becomes unbearable of anything that's weighing your head down. Is so, like, if you can just get it out, and then now I'm able to talk about it without even freaking out. At first, like, I couldn't even get the sentences out without, like, blubbering, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying that as a point of fact so that people understand this is a process. And to your point about just listening, here's the deal. Here's why people don't feel like listening is enough. A, they don't feel like they are enough because our struggles, Gretchen, they're not unique. We just got to a really bad breaking point. This is the human experience. And so when you hear someone talk about their pain, it is so hard for us to just sit and hold that because it brings up our own fear, our own shame, our own pain that we are really good at dismissing. And so, like, when people would come to me, I'm there in a fix it mentality because that protects me from from having to hold my own stuff at the same time as theirs. And so when someone comes to me now, I might cry right along with them, even a therapy client. And I don't give a shit. I will. I'll just weep. If someone else is crying, I'm crying. Like that's who I am as a person. Like I'm not like making you console me. I'm not like weeping with you, but like tears are going to come out. Like I'm going to express that I have emotions about what you're telling me. That's okay. Like I can show up imperfectly even as a therapist. I can show up as exactly who I am in any given situation. But it takes work to learn to not dismiss your own feelings, thereby dismissing others. And that's the world that we grew up in, is a world of people telling us not to talk about things because they didn't like the way they felt when we did.
I love this conversation so much because, there's so much shit going on in the world right now. Literally,
Mhm.
so much shit.
Mhm.
If you are feeling uncomfortable about anything, open up. I don't care if you're talking to your cat, talk about it.
Mhm.
But the thing with you and I, because we are both empaths and extroverts, it makes our lives a little bit harder,
Mhm.
right? Because we are now like soaking in everybody else's stuff. But that's where boundaries come in, right?
Yep.
Boundaries are huge. Right? Lifesavers, best thing that I found in the last 3 years. Wished I would have
Yeah.
found them 20 years ago. But
Right.
like, you know, being, setting those boundaries and also like stop the negative talk towards yourself. All right. The
Yep.
world does a great job of shitting on us every single day. Quit shitting
Yeah.
on yourself.
There's not a
Okay.
shortage of people who are ready to squash you like a bug at any time, I promise you.
Yeah, they are all in there and like they'll all gang up on you, but like be nicer to yourself. If you can
Mhm.
bring anything into the new year, Do 3 things for yourself. Number 1, talk nicer to yourself. Number 2, start reaching out to your friends. Even if you think that they're okay, still reach out to them. I do self-care Sundays. I reach out to people on text and ask them how they're doing. And number 3, be kind. All right? Just be super kind to people. You have absolutely 0 idea what somebody's going through. Just be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Well, that's the thing that, like, I haven't been hit with something, like, major like this in a really long time, so I kind of forgot some of the things, like, we went through a McDonald's drive-through a couple of days after Jake died, and I was like, these people don't know that Jake died. It was just a weird, like there's all these like different times where I'm like, but then we've encountered like a couple of rude people. I can't even remember if it was like because Bryson had a griefy moment of rage and broke his hand punching the refrigerator. That's why he had to have surgery. And I think maybe it was yes, it was going to the doctor for that. Like, people just are so quick to be short and whatever, and I'm like, "I'm hanging on by a thread, so you're probably not gonna wanna talk to me like that right now," you know? But, like, again, they don't know that I've just had the worst experience of my life, but, like, you shouldn't have to know that to treat people with kindness, you know? And there is a difference between nice and kind. If kindness can look a lot of different ways. Be kind to yourself first. Like, honor your own needs, your own boundaries, whatever. That's kind of where I'm at in terms of, like, how I can show up for others even in this time is, like, if it's a reciprocal energy where we just love the shit out of each other and we're just, what I can hear your shit even now. But like if you're someone way out on the periphery, I'm probably not going to be available to you right now for something that to me seems kind of trivial. Like that's just where I'm personally at, you know? But I think it's okay to not be there for everyone all the time. If your body and your spirit says I need rest, then that's your number one priority is to make sure you are rested. Or if it says I need space or silence or just a walk away from everyone, whatever it is, do that. And that is a kindness. It's a kindness to you and to others. That's what people don't understand about boundaries because how many times have you shown up in a situation that you didn't really want to and then you regretted it? No one really wanted you there after you showed up not wanting to be there. You know what I mean? I've ruined a lot of stuff showing up when I didn't have the energy for it.
Listen, I'm just gonna come, but I don't really wanna be here. But yeah, like, just be kind. Kindness is it's huge, and for people that are suffering out there, like, a kind word, a kind smile.
Mhm.
You go to a grocery store, everybody wears a name tag. Call people by their name.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference in their day, and especially for people that have shit that they're dealing with, right? Like, I've been a lot better about being open when I'm not happy. I've now learned to, take that mask off and be grateful that I don't need to wear it anymore. You either like me or
Right.
you don't like me. Here's what happened when I turned 60. I quit giving a fuck about a lot of things.
Yeah.
When I turned 62, I really do not give a shit. If you do not like me, I don't care. Okay?
Yeah.
Listen, my hours are numbered on this earth. It's all good.
Yeah, yeah, I hope I can still feel, like, the smallest remnant of, like, "You don't like me?" Like, sometimes. It doesn't make me lose sleep like it used to, but, like, at first, it'll be like, "What the hell? Like, I thought we were vibing," But even then, it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, "Well, I don't think I'm the problem here, so" like, I'm just moving on. But I
Just
hope I hope I will care even less. Like, as the years keep coming, I hope I will care even less.
it takes it less time than you would think. I'm telling you, as the years creep by, it takes even less time. I'm like, "Hmm." It kinda hits me wrong, and I'm like, "Okay, well, whatever. Oh, look, there's a deer. Perfect. Oh,
Okay,
look
good.
oh, look, there's a squirrel. Yeah, we're good. Listen, they like me. It's okay." But, not everybody's gonna like you, and not everybody's gonna like the person that you come out of on the other side, but
That's
do it
so
for
true.
you. Because listen, at the end of the day, you have to live with you, and you have to live with your decisions, and you have to live with what makes you happy. If
Yeah.
you're doing shit in your life right now that is not making you happy, make a change. Do the
Yes,
things
and
that
you can start small even. You can start
yeah.
small.
Yeah, like with me, like the things I don't like right now are my office, okay? I'm a little bit of a hoarder. Okay. I've been spending time like every like 15 minutes a day cleaning my office, okay?
Mhm.
Because here's the thing. Don't come in here without the lights on because somebody's gonna die. All right. Like
It's a hazard.
I don't want to carry that into 2026. I don't want to carry in negative self-talk, right? I want to turn that around. I don't want to carry the burden of being mad at somebody. Listen, if I'm
Mhm.
mad, I just leave myself a voice message and be like, I don't need to deal with this because now I got it off my chest, right? It's no longer in
Yeah.
my head. It's on my phone, probably never ever going to be listened to again. But like, be good to yourself. And, I, I didn't get a chance to say this, but I'm super proud of you for how you show up for yourself, how you've shown up for your family. It's been a really tough month for you, and I'm just really proud of you, and I love your show, and I love
Thank you.
everything about you, and you make those of us that are imperfect feel perfect.
Oh, thank you, Gretchen. That's so sweet. Well, I mean, that's the goal, right? Is just to show people, because like, I don't know, for me, I do believe we all have our own like specific missions here, but I think as a collective, we really are meant to be allow the world for a certain amount of time, whatever our path is, to tear us down and to make us hate ourselves and, feel the weight of expectations and then learn that none of that was ever supposed to matter and that we're allowed to be human and make a lot of mistakes and still be worthy of love and belonging, and to find unconditional love and compassion and positive regard for ourselves, and to get the most joy out of this experience. I believe that's us as a collective. And so I feel so passionate about sharing that with people because I thought my only purpose was to experience bullshit and then show others how to get through it. And as I've started to love myself more and more and more and really lean into compassion, I'm like, nah, man, I think we were just supposed to figure out joy and as much fun as we can possibly like we can get enlightened on a different dimension. That wasn't
Yeah.
the point. Like enlightenment helps us reach joy and love. That was the point. And then yeah, I think we've got our little missions and whatever, and I'm doing that and I feel really passionate about that. But it I think people get stuck sometimes because 'cause they're like, "Well, what's my purpose?" To love the shit out of yourself. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. Figure it
it
out.
it is, and, like, the other thing you can do this year is let your inner child come out and play. Listen,
Yes.
I didn't work the entire month of December. I colored, I baked, I did shit that I haven't
Yeah.
done in a really long time. Let your inner child come out. Listen, I am not gonna be doing a snow angel because at 62, we are not gonna be able to get back out
We
of the
do not
snow.
lay on the ground at 62.
No.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Not even with a life alert. Like, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Not even with a life alert. No, you're so right about that. Mhm.
Yeah, like, there are certain things at 62 you just don't do, and, like, right now, I don't have insurance. And I
Right.
have, like, these 2 little I have the devil and the angel on my shoulder, and the devil's like, "Hey, let's go sledding." And I'm like, "No, we're not going sledding. I don't have insurance. If I break a hip, I don't have money to pay for this." So I'm, like,
Right.
constantly like, those intrusive thoughts, I keep flicking that little devil off my shoulder, and he just
Uh-huh.
keeps popping right back up. I'm like, "Nope, not today. Not
Yeah,
today.
because you know
Keep
what you
flicking."
can do? A snowball fight or build a snowman.
Yeah,
Like, like, things like that. I mean, and like, baking, if Baking is so fun for me too. I was doing a lot of that in early December, and just you're so right. Your inner child, let that kinda lead the way. If you like Nerf guns, have you a little Nerf gun fight. I've been thinking about going to paintball.
Yeah.
Um, things like that. Like, hide and seek is so fun. It really is. Just do things that you take yourself back to a time when you felt innocent in the moment and do more of that. Because if you do that, you can let that lead the way. And when you reach joy in an activity, it gives you the motivation. It helps you with chemicals that help you do the things you've been not wanting to do.
The same good thing goes with laughter. So, every morning,
Yes.
like the first 20 minutes in the morning, I'll watch a funny video. It's either, um, messed up, like, raccoon videos or cat videos, anything to make me laugh. I mean, I feel kinda bad after I watch them because somebody just had their property destroyed, but I laugh, right? Like, it gives me, like, that like, a good belly roll laugh, and then after I do that, I stand up and I say what I'm grateful for, and I've had
Mm.
the same gratitude practice since January 20th of last year. And it makes a huge difference. Like, if you are, like, feeling, like, really super shitty, go find something to laugh at because here's what it
Yeah.
does. It releases that cortisol, gives you some serotonin, gives you some endorphins, and makes you feel a little less shitty for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
But then it
and that's all
carries
we're
on.
asking you to do is little we're not saying any of these tools is gonna change your entire life in 1 second. Maybe 10 minutes later, the thoughts are gonna come back or whatever, but the more you use the tools, the less you need to use them.
Mhm. And, just start the new year off like fresh slate, right? And for the empaths out there, there's a lot going on right now in the world. Remember to take care of yourself.
Mhm.
If we're not taking care of us, we cannot take care of anybody else. I mean, we think that we can, and we're really good at like telling ourselves that lie.
Yep.
But take care of you, and
Mhm.
you know, always know that there's hope. Um, you know, if you'd asked me 5 years ago if I thought I would own my own business, if I would have an award-winning podcast, the answer would be no. But I was in a
Right.
different place. I'm grateful for all that because look where I am now.
Yeah, and all the things like, it's like the stuff that made you feel so hopeless and stuck. Those things are the exact opposite for you now. Like you have the exact opposite life than you had then because you were living for other people in every way that you possibly could. You weren't making decisions that felt good for you because you were too afraid of how it would impact someone else, how they would think about it, all those things, all those lies that our brains tell us, like, don't go out of your comfort zone. We listened for so long. That was really one of the biggest things for me, too. I wanted to go out and start like an entrepreneurial journey, and I was terrified. I wasn't willing to admit that, not even to myself really, that I was terrified to do that and stayed in a toxic job for a year longer than I should have. And guess what? Squashed like a bug. Like so surprised that I ended up in a mental health crisis. Like when you're in a job that is really toxic for you, well, your job is a lot of where you spend your time. So, like, yeah, you're not going to be a super high functioning person. There are sacrifices that you have to decide are worth it to go and do anything different. I will say that. But I heard the saying a million years ago, the pain of staying the same has to become greater than the pain of doing something different or the pain of change before you move. And I've always been that person. I've had to become the most discontent in a situation before I can move. And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, all the things that I was afraid of, that doesn't mean shit to me now because I'm like, I will do anything to not feel this bad anymore." And so maybe we do have to hit rock bottom before we can move. But if you're at rock bottom, I'm saying there's so much hope on the other side of this. I promise you, there's so much hope.
Yeah, and like there's so many tools out there, and like if you don't have money, go to a support group. They're free.
Yes,
These
they're
are people
free.
that are like going through the same type of shit that you're going through, and you don't
No
have to
matter
go in
what it is,
person.
there's a support group for it, I promise.
Yeah, and you don't have to go in person, you can do it online. Um, if you're in crisis, you know what? Contact 988 or your local crisis hotline. They'll find you that resource. These are trained people. I'm alive today because of them.
Yes.
And I I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've been in over 20 years, but it took a lot of fucking work. And
Yeah,
yeah,
but it
I
doesn't
still have
take that
days.
long, right? Like,
Yeah,
compared to how long you were miserable, weren't you in a better space pretty quickly when you started doing the work? Like, at least you didn't wanna die anymore, right?
yeah. I didn't wanna die anymore, and what I did want is I wanted to get better, because what had happened is I terrified everybody in my inner circle.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well, because 'cause they're like, "Oh my god, if you can be that low when you've been walking around with a smile on your face, what
yeah,
does that mean for me?"
yeah, just be honest. Be honest with yourself, and like I said before, there is absolutely 0 weakness in asking for help. 0.
Yeah.
And whether you feel it or not, you are loved and wanted and needed.
Yes.
And, you know, make that first
And you
step,
have
and it's hard.
meaning.
Yeah, you
No
have
matter who
meaning.
you are, there's meaning to your life, I promise.
And, yeah, laugh at the shit you're not supposed to laugh at, okay? Maybe only to yourself and maybe not in church, but, you know, laugh. Have a good time with life. Dream. Do things that you never thought you would were ever possible. That's what I did. I started my company a year ago. Yeah, was I scared shitless? I was. But I wanted to change, and I'm doing something now that I'm more passionate about than I've ever been.
Yeah, and when you're doing, like, work that lights you up, when you reach a frustration, it doesn't trigger all this, "I should just quit," or, "Nothing ever goes my way," or it's just a frustration. It's like "Oh, okay, uh, wow, I'm really good at problem solving now," or it gives you more confidence when you encounter some maybe even roadblocks in the things that light you up because you feel so, like, in tuned with what you're doing.
Yeah, and like I said, the world's a shit show right now, but you can still find joy. You can still find your
Absolutely.
inner child. You can still find your friends, your colleagues, your family. Like if you are not talking to your family, talk to them. Let them know what's
Yeah,
up. Because let me
yeah,
tell you, there's nothing worse than finding out later. Because we
yeah,
were too proud. As an extrovert, we are too proud to open up our mouths and let people know what's going on.
yeah. Well, and so many people feel like this is like a male-female issue, like that males are this more or females are this more. This is a human issue. I
Yeah.
promise you, we're not that different. We're not, none of us. And when you start to feel that oneness, that's what my big message is like when you're feeling like this little piece of the puzzle in this great big world of stuff that's just going so badly, I come back to the more I work on myself and the more I cultivate this inner love and inner light, that's the beacon. And then when you can, have the ripple effect to people around you and they find their light and then they find their light and we're all shining, there's your beacon. There's that's how the world changes is one person at a time finding their own light and shining it on others. It's not about showing up perfectly. It's not about anything other than being true to who you are, loving that version of you, whatever version of you is there in that moment, loving all of it and showing people like it's okay to exist as a human on this planet. And then that is how we get people to start to feel love for themselves. Self love is the only antidote for all of the hate that you see in this world. That is
Mhm.
the only antidote. So when we can teach people that we love ourselves and it's okay for them to love themselves too, that's the best activism that you can create. So when you get overwhelmed by all the many different issues you can take part of and stand strong on and be a front person for, back it up, babe, because like it starts with you. Like, how are you showing up? Because sometimes we can get really overly involved in the collective tasks and forget to take care of ourselves or to like find that light again, whatever it is. Your light is the thing you have to cultivate at all times. That's the number one thing that should be your priority. And then you can't help but radiate on others. That's just how it goes. And the more people learn how to love themselves, the less time and energy they will have for any sort of hatred for anyone else on this planet.
I love that advice. That is the most perfect advice. And you know what? If you're feeling a little down, just, reach out to a friend. Talk to somebody. Don't hold it all into yourself.
Right.
Because intrinsically, like, people do want to help, but a lot
Mhm.
of people just don't know how to do it. Um,
Right.
like I said, if we reach out, if your extroverted friends reach out, it's just because we want to talk. We need to vent.
Right. We need the
Okay.
connection. We need the connection.
We need a connection. Like, the empath in us is like done. And we just want to, maybe have a good laugh, or like open up, and don't be afraid if we come to you and say, hey, I'm not doing okay.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it, it happens
And
to
you
the
don't have to
best
have
of
any
us.
magic answers for
No.
somebody who says that.
And like, just, make it a choice this year to, like, reconnect with your friends. There's a really
Mhm.
good video out there, the Simon Sinek, 8 minutes. We all have 8 minutes for somebody. Every
Yeah.
single one of us. We all have 8 minutes. If you watch the video, it'll make you cry. It makes me cry all the time, because I do have friends that come back to me and say, hey, do you have 8 minutes? I
Yeah.
can always find 8 minutes for you. Always.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have like a ton of time left, so I want to make sure we talk about what your book is, what your podcast is, what your techie stuff is, like what you're doing and what that's all about.
Beautiful. So I have a book that's coming out this year. It's called I Almost Died, but fuck, it was close. And it's about my story. It tells about everything that I went through in the last quarter of 2022 and where I ended up. And from that story is what how our podcast started. Our podcast started because of me. On Christmas Day 2022, I attempted to take my life. And at the time, I couldn't find a podcast like ours. Our podcast, we are very vulnerable. We do laugh. We laugh about the hard shit. But
Sure.
here's what's great about laughing about the hard shit. Makes it a lot easier to digest. And we are going to year number 3. We have 3.5 million downloads and listened to in
That's
over
so
100
cool.
countries. And now fully booked with guests until March of 2027.
Wow.
Don't ask me how that happened. And then last January, I quit corporate America after 45 years, and I opened up my own business. And it's two sides of the business. I have a tech side, and on that tech side, right now, I am teaching free beginner AI courses, and I have a free app that goes with that course. And then I have other offerings, like if you want to learn about prompting and things like that. That's a pay as you can. And then I have a strategic partnership with Comrie, and so I'm doing a 52 week um, article series on LinkedIn, and now expanding that to Substack and Medium.
That's so cool. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank
That's so
you.
oh, but you didn't say the name of your podcast.
So the name of our podcast is Shit That Goes On in Our Heads. And literally, like,
So
who doesn't
great.
have shit going on in their heads?
Exactly.
And it's such a great platform, right? And the whole reason we're moving to Substack is because we want to form more community around our podcast and our resources. We've had 160 plus episodes, maybe 169, and just a lot of really great resources that come out of that.
Yeah.
And I think that the more we talk about it, the more we are normalizing how we talk about mental health.
Right.
And it's a huge thing for me. And like I said, when I went through my own shit, there wasn't a podcast like ours. Um, our both our guests and our listeners all say it's like sitting around the fire listening to your friends just shoot the shit. It's
Yeah.
a super casual conversation, and I'm uber grateful for my co-host, Dirty Skittles. Um, like, when you get to do that with your best friend,
Yes.
it's like super cool. And like with my business, I started teaching classes at our local library, and the reason I do free AI courses is because there's so much misinformation out there, and especially for kids and seniors. And I want to make sure that everybody understands what they can be doing, what they should be doing, and the app that I created does have serious guardrails on it. So, like, you can't figure out how to make a ghost gun. It doesn't act as like a nefarious character when it's talking back to kids. Kids can, ask homework problems. Doesn't give you the answer. So things like
Yeah.
that, and then just using that kind of as a lead magnet to, get other courses. Like I built my whole app vibe coding. And, yes, I do have a tech background, but I was never a software developer. And, AI helped me become smart.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'm really fortunate that I get to do this. And yeah, all that hard shit is this is the outcome.
You're absolutely right. And that's it, I know this is a more spiritual concept, that's really helped me, but I can see now where, like, when I dug in my fear and my stubbornness and my ego, there had to be some force external of me that's made it very difficult to exist in that if I wanted to be living in alignment with what my spirit wanted to live, you know? And so for me, it's easy to look back and go, okay, well, I can see how that would have needed to happen to become this. And I mean, I've said this pretty openly. I wouldn't be surviving child loss right now if I hadn't put in all of that work over the last 2 years, because it is those tools that I rely on every minute of every day. Just this morning when I was showering, I was like, I don't think I've spent enough time in my body the last couple days. So I was just taking deep breaths with my hand on my stomach and noticing the inhale and exhale and, oh, my lower back's a little tense, and then just sending, like, love and light to areas of my body. I'm just figuring it out, like, but I'm willing to try all of the things because I know that they work, and so, yeah, if I hadn't spent so much time learning how to exist in a much happier, more peaceful, joyful existence, I wouldn't be happening, and I would be the root of things that destroyed what's left of my family because I was not a I was pretty toxic before, and I get to be the opposite now. I'm like the light that's showing my other two children and my husband like how to do this in a way that honors us and him and the life that we're given, and that we can find meaning in this and move forward. So, it's always worth it. It's always worth one more day. Just give it a little bit more time.
And what's funny is like in December, later part of November and December, I did get a little depressed because I didn't make any money in November
Mhm.
and December. And my wife reminded me that we were going to be okay, and that I'm building something, and that I'm building my brand, and that of where I've come from, and
Yes.
like how everybody around me is super proud of me, and they see me as a beacon of light and a beacon of hope, and that
Yes.
even on our hardest days, if you have that little glimmer that things are going to get better, they will. And I I will tell anybody out there, it's worth it. It was hard, hard, hard work. And yes, I still have some ghosts in my closet that are probably never going to come out, but the ghosts that needed to come out did. And this is where I am today. And I get to do something I really love doing. I love
Yeah.
teaching. I love to teach and I love to talk. And apparently, all those years of where I didn't talk about my emotions, now, apparently I have diarrhea of the mouth. So, it's all good.
Me too. Me too. I'm always like, I think I just talked too much on that episode.
Eh,
Actually, when I was, doing the best of thing at the end of the year because I could not record for a couple weeks and was just like, well, it's this show means so much to me, right? So, like, it's been so important to me to be consistent. So I was like, I have to release something, and I don't have anything to release, and I'm not in a place to do solo shit. So I was like, we'll do a best of. Well, so when I pulled that video out of the vault, I was just dying laughing because I was like, damn, this was when I still just like had no problem interrupting or and talking over or whatever. Because I've tried really hard to like calm down a little bit because I just get so excited, and I'm like, "La, la, la, la." But listen, baby, that's why I've changed the intro to my show. The truth is, this show's about me. This show's about me and my growth and my evolution. We get to have connective stories about you too, but like I'm a talk. That's the thing about me is I'm a talk.
and I love that about you. And I just like, you're just a good human. And if you can just remember that and take that into 2026, you're a good human and the world needs you. And we need your voice. And, thank you for being that beacon. Thank you for being that light.
Oh, thank you, Gretchen. You're so sweet. Well, I love you. I'm so
I love you.
glad that you came on. I can't wait till I'm signed up for some point during this year to be on your show. I don't remember when, but it'll happen. I'm
It's,
so excited that you finally got the chance to be here.
yes, me too. And like I said, like march into 2026 with your head high, held high, and know that it's okay to be depressed. Okay, listen, we
You're
are
gonna
not
have those
perfect,
times. Yeah.
but
It's really just how you deal with it, and if you understand it, I just keep saying this over and over, and I'm not gonna quit saying it. If you understand that so much of that is just a biochemical process, what goes up must come down. Your brain is always going to reach equilibrium, so when you're really down, know that the up is coming as long as you take those little baby steps to get you there. There are just a few little things that you can do to increase dopamine. Have you eaten? Have you eaten protein? Have you had water? Have you had a shower? Have you had a walk or even just like a 30-second dance party? Like there are so many things that can just help you until your brain goes, oh, we're back to baseline. Because every time you get really happy about something and you release all those really good chemicals, I promise you at some point your brain's going, "Ugh, I'm depleted. And it just needs some rest and
yeah.
comfort and a good snack and a movie, whatever it is for you. The squirrel videos, God knows I love them too, or really taking in the moment when a possum comes up to your back door,
Yeah.
like, and just watching it, like the cat videos, all of it, the birds in the sky, take it in because your brain's just looking for equilibrium. So, like, so much of our depression is just a chemical process. Don't let the shit that goes on in your head tell you otherwise. It's going to feed like when you're tired and when you're sad, your brain is really good at overthinking then. But if you can just get more present and be like what's around me? What can I take joy in right now? And rest when you need it. I promise it's going to come right back up to baseline and then you're going to be able to feel all the joy again. But it's not bipolar to expect some ups and downs. That's the way our brain literally functions. So just ride the wave, ride it. And then
Right?
when you're not sad anymore, you're going to go, oh, you're right. That's all it took. Okay, great. And then next time you're going to remember that and you're going to go, oh, I'm not going to be so hard on myself right now because this is just a chemical process.
Yeah. Such great advice. This was such a great conversation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I had such a good time. Okay, I'm going to press stop if you'll hold on for 1 sec.
Okay.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.